Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football, talking Notre Dame, legitimate college football playoff contender. Please like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel for the very best in debate, discussion, and analysis of college football. Notre Dame waxes Virginia Tech in the second half, 45-23. Close game at the break, 17-16. And then the Irish took over, scoring 3 consecutive touchdowns. This offense is completely transformed under Ian Book. He hit on 25 of 35 against the Hokies for 271. Watch the games and watch the playmakers get the ball in space, get it on time. Book make the right decisions and make accurate throws in the passing game. They have scored 56, 38, and 45 points against 3 decent to good opponents, and 2 of those games on the road, Wake Forest and this game in Blacksburg. Under Brandon Wimbush, the Notre Dame offense couldn't crack 24 points against the likes of, yes, an excellent Michigan defense, but Ball State and Vanderbilt at home, all the games at home. Dexter Williams has provided a spark, if not a burst and a bolt. He's a home run threat, but he's not a scat back. He's a big physical back that can take a pounding and should continue to get close to 20 carries per game. He ripped off a 97-yard touchdown run against the Hokies, the longest play in Lane Stadium history to break this thing open in the third quarter. He rushed it 17 times for 178 yards. That's coming off a game against Stanford of 162 yards on the ground. Dexter Williams served a 4-game suspension, came in cold, and has been spectacular in helping to energize this Notre Dame offense. Miles Boykin, among an excellent Notre Dame receiving corps, is becoming a star in college football. He caught 8 passes against the Hokies for 117 yards and 2 touchdowns. And that statistically wasn't as good a game as he had against Stanford. 11 catches for $144 against the Cardinal. The defense is the most talented, the quickest, the fastest, the toughest Notre Dame defense that we've seen in quite some time. Certainly since 2012 when they went to the BCS championship game. Tavon Coney's a player. Julian Love leads the secondary. Jerry Tillery up front mans the middle. Drew Tranquil is an exceptional player. The Notre Dame defense has been strong in every game this season. They haven't played a bad game. They're strong on all 3 levels. It's not a spotty, talented, but weak-linked defense in some areas. It's strong across the board. All right, Justin Yoon, we saw him set the Notre Dame all-time scoring record against Virginia Tech last night with 321 points. He has been really good in his career, not great, hitting on 48 of 61 field goals. All right, Notre Dame is halfway home at 6-0. Most people would argue that they've cleared the most difficult hurdles. Michigan, who is turning out to be the best team on the schedule at this point, the Stanford game at home, and then going on the road to Virginia Tech, a team that is up and down. All right, the rest of the way. The next 2 weeks, they've got Pitt at home and also Navy at home. I would give them a plus 90% chance of winning both of those games. This Navy team is down. They lost to Air Force 35-7 Saturday. Pitt is not good, although they did upset Syracuse at home on Saturday, but Notre Dame has both of those games in South Bend. Then they go to the most tricky game on the schedule at Northwestern. The Wildcats are dangerous. They just came off a win at Michigan State. They took Michigan to the wire. They are losing games and finding ways to lose games until that trip to East Lansing against Sparty. But they are dangerous. But they can also lose to Akron. So they typically play to the level of their competition, at least this season for Northwestern. So let's give Notre Dame on the road an 80% chance of winning. All right, Florida State. Yes, we saw them play spectacular football at Miami for 3 quarters, roughly. 27-7 lead, and they blew it. The week before, they finally won a game in the ACC, but it was against a hapless Louisville squad, and they needed a miracle at the end to get that done. Florida State is a wreck right now. How good are they going to be in 4 weeks? We shall see. They've got the talent on the roster. If the 4 stars come together, then this could be a game in South Bend. Still give Notre Dame an 85% chance of beating Florida State. Then Syracuse, another tricky spot. The Cuse has been tough. They did lose to Pitt, as we mentioned, 37-34 in overtime. They also took Clemson to the wire, of course, in South Carolina. So Syracuse and New York City, I believe that game's at the Meadowlands, of course. We've got an 85% chance of a Notre Dame win. If those two teams played 100 times, Notre Dame wins the game 85 times. But it leaves that possibility of an upset. And then finally, the game at USC, possibly the most intriguing. Final game of the season at the Coliseum. USC right now is probably a top 30 football team in the nation. Notre Dame's a top 5 to 10 team. At the Coliseum, though, final game of the season. Maybe Notre Dame's undefeated. They're trying to protect that perfect record, make a college football playoff. And depending what's going on elsewhere, they could possibly lose a game at that point and still make the playoff. Or they may need a victory. JT Daniels is going to do nothing but get better. And USC, you would think with that talented roster, similar to Florida State, they pose a threat because of the talent. It's not developed, at least on the offensive side for the Trojans. They've really struggled. But I give Notre Dame right now, who knows what we're going to look like on both sides of this matchup 6 weeks from now. But right now, Notre Dame, a 70 to 75% chance of winning. Well, let's keep in mind that they probably don't have to run the table unless Ohio State, Clemson, Alabama, and a one-loss Georgia team do. One loss meaning in an SEC championship game. So for right now, Notre Dame in great shape, controlling their own destiny, you would think. The argument will come into play possibly if we get to that point about a 13th data point. We can have that argument at some point. We typically do when you join me on the live streams at MarkRogersTV and you call in to 860-325-3687. This is all about Notre Dame making the college football playoff halfway home and probably through their toughest games. Please like, comment, and subscribe here at MarkRogersTV, the voice of college football.